This defense just had their forensics guy refer to evidence he found on Travis's computer showing somebody at 4 in the morning, hours before he was killed, watching a YouTube video called Daft Punk Harder, Faster, Stronger. Appears to be a music video, but then you hear about this photograph of an erect penis. This is the kind of stuff that is now maybe replacing testimony in court. Let's debate it with our extraordinary team of legal experts. We're delighted to have with us Gloria Allred, the famed victims' rights attorney, as well as other excellent attorneys, Arias Martin, Evangeline Gomez, and Wendy Murphy, former prosecutor. We start with you, Wendy. Has the game changed?
Well, there's no question prosecutors and defense attorneys and investigators are looking deeper into these sources of technological private space, if you will. But just because something exists on your laptop doesn't change the very old legal standard of relevancy. In other words, just because it's there doesn't make it probative, doesn't help us understand the truth any better. In this case or any other case, technology doesn't change the fact that the jury, even if it sees the picture of the penis from the hard drive, wink, is going to say, oh, well, there you go. Now we know whether she's guilty or not. They're probably going to look at that kind of evidence and say to themselves, boy, this really emphasizes the fact that Jodi never herself got on the stand, which is going to make her look even more guilty. So I don't see why this helps her at all. It's a little titillating. It's a lot distracting, but it tells us nothing about what happened.
Hold on a second. Let's debate this because Gloria Allred, famed victims' rights attorney, you were telling me how you have 2 IT people in your staff because this is the kind of evidence that really sings to a jury.
Yeah, they're just downloading evidence all the time, texts, emails, photos. I don't know. Is this a dancing penis? Is this just an erect penis? Whose penis is it? I don't know. But here we are in the middle of a murder trial discussing it. So Wendy's right. Is there relevancy? That's going to have to be shown. How does this get tied up to the defense? We'll have to wait and see. But people need to be aware that, when you're using social media, somehow that might end up either in a criminal case or a civil case, or even somebody from your job may view it, like an employer.
Yeah, and don't lose your phone. Evangeline Gomez, here's my question. They've got this sex tape. They've got a phone sex tape. She records it. Should they be able to play it without her having to take the stand?
Yes, they should be able to play it without Jodi taking the stand. Let's remember, she is not required to take the stand. She has constitutional rights that allow her not to take the stand. And again, she's not going to be held to be presumptively guilty if she doesn't take the stand. They can have it come on in through the use of experts. Experts can testify. You can have someone testify as to whether or not that's her voice, whether or not that's his voice. Psychological experts, social workers.
But Arias Martin, a lot of people find that concept offensive, that, oh, you've got to lay the foundation. You can't just throw up this tape out of context.
You're right, Jane. There are a lot of issues with foundation with respect to this tape. And more importantly, I don't know how this tape helps the defense. It just shows that this man and this woman were engaged in some pretty salacious sexual activity, both, when they got together as well as over the phone. And we've heard about these, sex texting that they were doing as well. But what we haven't heard today is anything that suggests that Travis was aggressive or that he was violent. And for the defense to have a chance in this case, they've got to make Travis a violent person. They've got to give us a reason why Jodi stabbed this guy 29 times, shot him in the face, left the scene of this crime, told people the exact opposite of what happened, and has recanted her story and now has told us 2 or 3 different stories.
Or do they? Or can they just smear this man who is not here to defend himself anymore and paint him to be somebody who is a sex pervert with sex on the brain, sex on the computer, sex on the phone, and make him less sympathetic to the jurors so they don't give her the death penalty?